The demand for metals like cobalt, nickel, and platinum will be massive as the internal combustion engine gives way to vehicles powered by batteries and fuel cells. And Group 10 Metals' core asset has all these materials in abundance. I'm with Mike Rowley. He is CEO and Director of Group 10, ticker PGE on the Venture Exchange. Mike, I want to talk about your Stillwater West project in a moment, but first, could you talk to me about Group 10?
Sure, I'd be glad to, and thank you for having me today. Group 10 Metals is a growth stage exploration company. We're pre-resource at this point. However, as you'll hear from Stillwater, we're working on that quickly. We have 3 district scale land positions, each one 100% owned, and each one in a brownfields district beside one of the best deposits or mines of its type. 2 of those are PGE-Ni-Cu copper, one of them is high-grade gold in Ontario.
Why the focus on brownfields?
Essentially, in a bear market cycle, you can acquire these good assets inexpensively and consolidate them as necessary to build that district scale position. And then database, if you can bring a good database with that excellent land position, you're starting on second or even third base in terms of adding value to the project. So our credo at the Metallic Group and at Group 10 is to secure that district scale position, bring that database in, and then bring in some new thinking, new geologic models, perhaps from a different district, or just more recent developments. And in that way, you can add a lot of value very quickly to the project.
Mike, let's talk about your Stillwater West project. What is it and why is it so exciting?
It's a fantastic project for a junior, and in fact, much larger companies than us have asked us how we got it. We have literally half of the Stillwater district, the iconic Stillwater district, and that was made possible by a local who reached out to us and basically brought us the opportunity back in 2017. Since then, we've brought together tens of millions of dollars worth of data, geophysical surveys, past drilling, and we were quick to go after this Platte Reef model. So we're taking models from the Bushveld, South Africa, and bringing them to Stillwater in a related, layered magmatic system. Going after these big nickel copper sulfide PGE deposits in the lower portions of the Stillwater complex. And that's always been known in technical papers. We're the first ones to go after it systematically, and it's there. It's real. We've proven that in our drill core last year and again this year. We adjoin, of course, the Sibanye-Stillwater mines, an 80 million ounce palladium platinum deposit. There are 3 mines run by Sibanye-Stillwater on that deposit and a smelter elsewhere in the district. This is mining friendly country, it's productive. 14 million ounces have come out of this district historically at the highest grades in the world for PGEs. It's been an excellent place for us to work, and we're very excited about the work we're doing right now and the resources that we expect to debut in the coming months here. We're drilling at present at Stillwater and just finished a marvelous geophysical survey that quite literally lit up large parts of the project. This is a 25-kilometer span we have in the district. And we're excited about the news flow that will come out of that.
Can you talk about the nickel sulfide component from the Stillwater?
Sure. Yeah, the entire Stillwater complex is fundamentally a nickel copper sulfide system. It's a magmatic system, and it's one of the biggest in the world. It's actually 40 kilometers by 8 kilometers on surface. It's the biggest outside of South Africa and Russia. And that brings nickel sulfide, and that, of course, is very desirable as battery-grade nickel nowadays. Tesla is very publicly looking for it. We've got it 1 state away. Our neighbor, in fact, those deposits of Sibanye-Stillwater, those are nickel sulfide deposits. They're just very low in nickel and very high in PGEs. In the lower parts of these systems, you get these bigger magmatic events and these bigger contact-style deposits. So the target here looks a lot like Anglo-American's Mogalakwena project in the Bushveld, South Africa, or Ivanhoe's Platte Reef. Tens to hundreds of meters in thickness, kilometers long, running 0.2, 0.3 nickel, with good PGMs on top of that.
What I found interesting as you're advancing the project is that you've brought in some personnel that have a specific interest or specific expertise in working with these types of geological formations.
It's been a lot of fun, actually, and bringing these mines together with this kind of asset just makes my job very rewarding. It starts with Greg Johnson. Of course, he's very familiar with ultramafic systems. We brought in the Stillwater asset and were able to engage Dr. Craig Bowe as chief geologist and he's a member of this elite group called the Ultra Mafia that travel the world studying these black rock systems. So he's been to the Great Dyke, for example, and he's familiar with Norilsk and Bushveld. Of course, we were able to bring in Dr. David Broughton of Ivanhoe as well, their chief geologist, now ex-chief geologist. And that was a marvelous connection. That was September 2018. And he gave us that validation, that proof of concept that we weren't crazy, that this was real. There is Platreef in Montana. And he helped us immensely in terms of what we should be looking for and what our programs should be targeting.
Let's talk about news and potential catalysts. But first, could we just talk about the other projects that fall underneath Group 10?
Yeah, prior to making the Stillwater acquisition, around 2015, we were staking ground in the Yukon and acquiring ground in the Yukon around the Kluane district. So we're the largest landholder in the Kluane district, again, 100% owned district scale position. And that adjoins what used to be known as the Wellgreen deposit. It's now the Nickel Show deposit. It's one of the largest undeveloped nickel copper sulfide PGE deposits in the world. And we adjoin that, and we've got a number of properties down that strike as well. It's highly prospective, earlier stage than Stillwater, but excellent ground. In Ontario, and probably the second project in terms of interest these days on our list, is our Black Lake Drayton project, which adjoins Treasury Metals. They've recently consolidated with the Goldland project next door to them. As a result, Treasury Metals now has 3 million ounces and 2/3 of that district, and we have the remaining third of that district. That's significant because they're permitted to build a mill. They're doing great work, and that project is attracting a lot of attention in the M&A sense.
What's your financing picture like right now for driving these projects through the next 12 months?
We're in a good place. We're financed well into 2021 from our current perspective in terms of what we need to do. We have about 5 million cash in the bank. We have over 11 million of in-the-money warrants and about a further 2 million of in-the-money options. So we are financed through this year's drill program and into delivering those resources that we expect to deliver. I think we're in some good discussions with potential strategic partners on the project, and we'll see what the winter brings and the results of our drill program. But we may look at doing bigger programs next year, perhaps a multi-rig program, for example, and we'll look at financings on that basis.
What could be news that you'll be releasing about Stillwater or any of the other projects over the next 12 months?
Sure. Well, deals on the other assets, as they become relevant. But from Stillwater, the drill core has been heading out now for weeks for assays, so we're looking forward to reporting that. We've certainly visually had some very interesting core, so I look forward to reporting those. And the resources, of course. We're now converting drill-defined mineralization in 3 target areas to our first resources on the project, and that's in process. We'll be looking to bring in this year's drill results into those models and getting those out as fast as we can late this year, early next year.
Mike, I've known you for a while, and you've been an old hand in the Yukon for many, many years. What's it like to work in the Yukon? What makes it such a great place to be?
It's a fantastic place to work. And Ann Turner and the work of the YMA is a part of that. It's obviously the rocks, the geology. There's great untapped potential there. It is a big part of the economy, and they know that, and they embrace mining. It's been very good for us being there.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.